Who, 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 who ready? We ready. Who ready? We ready. Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Who ready? Who? We ready. Who? Motivation to youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe. I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. You're on step like Ginobili. From young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready. Who ready?
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is the One on One Sports Show. Appreciate y'all for joining us. What's up, Dante?
Man, what's going on? How you doing?
Fine. Mr. Bennett, he won't be joining. He got his anniversary thing doing, so celebrating Black love. And I just saw, I don't know, I think Trey maybe experienced some technical difficulties right now. I just saw like a message pop up on it. So,
Okay.
but we can still get it started. Then they, of course, they feel free to jump in once they get them all situated. But yeah, so based on the title, the thumbnail that we had was about this betting that we have now in sports. It's not really nothing new, but I guess the only new thing about it, especially if you watch ESPN, there was a time if you watch ESPN, they didn't. What's up, Trey?
What's going on, Trey?
They never spoke about betting. You never saw it. You never saw any over and unders. They never promoted it. And then once it started being more accepted and whatnot, now you see them, showing the over and unders on the bottom ticker. They have shows, ESPN bets, dedicated to betting now. You have SVP in its nighttime sports center doing bad beats.
Yeah, now he's been doing that for some time because I remember when I used to watch his show or listen to his show when it was him and Russillo. They've always kind of had that, but the difference is the openness about it. Like I remember what you're saying, Shiny, is
Mm-hmm.
correct. When I was growing up, I used to ask my dad, "Hey, Dad, what's that? What's that minus sign by the thing? What's that?" He's like, "Son, that's gambling." He said they can't really talk about it outside of two main places. Was it Jersey with Atlantic City and Vegas, of course. And so he was like, so they can't really talk about it. And then because I remember at the end of Bad Beats was always Brett Musburger saying a clip of him saying that score is very important to some. That last score is very important to some people. So it was always sneaking around it. And I remember watching, if y'all ever seen the Jimmy the Greek 30 for 30, and how he was kind of open with it and talking about it. And that was the 80s. And so just what you said, Shiny, when you sent me that topic, I was just like, look, that's a home run because one of my YouTubers I follow, he's been talking about it. And it's and I'm glad you bring it. It's not the best thing for black men. And we're just gonna be completely honest about it. Because what is it? Whenever America has a flu, there you have a cold, black people got the flu. It's worse. So if there's gambling addictions, like when you see the gambling number and stuff, it's gonna hit the black community harder than any other community. And if you look at it, who is Kevin Hart, Jamie Foxx, and every podcast you can listen to, except ours. We black now. Black he ain't got the ad with the gamblers yet, but it's like everybody is promoting it. And if you see Prize Picks, that's gambling. If you see all that different stuff, it's a form of gambling, and they're paying for everything from Joe Budden's pie. If you listen to that, everything unless you're something that's more geared for women, and even and women definitely they're doing parlays. Like you see it, that's coming. That's the next wave. So it's like what are we and if you look at it this week, he's an obscure player for the Toronto Raptors so much that his name came, and normally I can remember name came and went, and I couldn't remember him. What he was doing is he was hitting his unders, and then what he did was he was telling his friends that the betting activity, they was like, this is the most profitable bet, and they did it, and this was like recent. I'm talking about these are games that I want to say in March and earlier in March, and then something would happen where he was like he goes out of the game with the illness, and it's like,
Yeah,
bro,
you talking about
that
Jonte Porter.
yes,
He's just, I believe he was like on a two-way contract with the Raptors.
yeah,
Many people may not know him, but they know his brother. His brother is
that's
with the
Michael
Nuggets.
Porter's brother.
Michael Porter Jr. is his brother. So
Mm.
his brother may ultimately have to answer questions. He over there in Denver, they're trying to win another championship. And no, not I don't know if Jonte is maybe his older, but I don't know. I think
That's
he may be his older
crazy.
brother. But yeah, he's going. They going. I'm pretty sure
What
Michael's gonna have to be answering questions on behalf of his brother. He's like, I have
what
nothing to do with that.
what's specific about gambling? What y'all discussing?
Well, because I originally brought up about how gambling, sports betting, it had it opened up Pandora's box, but it's not anything new per se. But I guess the
No,
only thing more
no,
new about it now,
just
it's
the
being
over and
talked
under and
about
the
more.
extra.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's being
They're
talked
I
about
think
more
speculating with it.
freely and on
this
TV.
this is my opinion about gambling. If you play sport, I mean, as a brother, I don't even know if you should gamble on sports like that. That's a waste of money, if you ask me. I mean, save that money now. That's why I look. I never gambled. I've always been involved with
Yeah,
sports
I'm
since
not a
I was a
gambler neither.
kid. I mean, I might bet you a soda, or a bag of chips when I was young. You know what I'm saying? But as far as spending 1,500, 2,000, 500, 200, and I get a family man got children, it's a waste of my money. It's the waste of my legacy. I mean, I can invest it in something else or just save it, see what I need to do with it when I need to do with it. I mean, betting, because you ain't gonna win big. The powers that be still gonna control the money.
Yeah,
So
Well,
make so
what Porter was doing, he like Dante said, he set the bar relatively low. I think he had his over and under was around 8 points. And with
hmm
8 points, something that low, a coach, teammates, hell, maybe even fans of the team, you can see that, you know, that's deliberate. You can see if you watching the game, like he could potentially be missing, passing open shots, not taking taking the ball to the rim if you have a lane,
but
not
this
cutting.
that's the same thing that the powers that be do. They just raise the odds a little bit. I mean, they lower the odds by raising it higher
Well,
because they got
they
more
may
money.
do it, but a
So
basketball player is not supposed to be betting on his own, really on his
he
own
shouldn't
self
even
in
have no.
anything
He
in the
shouldn't have
sport.
nothing in that. He
So
shouldn't
that's
even be
yeah,
why,
involved with betting
and I
at all.
think two games. One of them when he had that, I think it was over under of 8 points. One of them he
Who was
exited the game
playing?
early.
What
I
was the
forgot who he was
teams?
playing, but it's I forgot who he was playing, but it's Jonte Porter.
yeah,
He's for the Raptors. And one game he exited out early because he was complaining about a lower leg injury.
yeah.
Well, he probably
And
got
then
caught up
so
in the
they
minutes.
thought, and then the next game, so that's one way. Okay, I don't have to make this 8 points. I'm not going to play in the game. So
But
he gets out early in the game. The next game, all of a sudden he has, they say he had the bubble guts, and that took him out the game. So, and then I guess I forgot the exact details of what initiated, people to start looking into him. But I'm like, hell.
mhm.
But like I say, people may not know Jonte Murray. I don't want to keep saying Murray, Jonte Porter, but they
Yeah,
know his brother, Michael Porter Jr. in
yeah.
Denver. So
Michael's the older brother.
Mhm.
okay, he's the older brother. So and that's just in the NBA. But before that, we have an even bigger story with an even bigger star in baseball, where I wish I would have had the timeline, involving Shohei Ohtani.
His
I wish I would have
translator.
had the time, man, talking about because when it first came out, okay, the story was that they saw that it was reported as theft because Otani noticed that he had 4.5 million was transacted out of his account. He's like,
Mhm.
how did this happen? I didn't do this. His translator, who been with him pretty much I think since he came in, well, over 10 years, since 2013. Uh,
He
they
lied
was
to him.
close. They was best friends. They was
He
close.
lied to him.
Well, that's the thing. We don't really know because the story's not adding up. Because when the story first came out, it the interpreter, I believe, he the one who came out and said that I have no idea what the hell he was betting on, but he landed himself in a $4.5 million hole. But he said Otani basically paid off his debt, and that got wind, and people start looking at it. Then all of a sudden, I think within like less than a day or something, the story changed. Oh, he didn't pay off my debt. I stole this money from him. So basically, all of a sudden now you saw seeing this spotlight placed 100% on Otani's interpreter. And then as the days went on, I started hearing more about the story. It wasn't just the interpreter who originally came out and said that Otani paid that debt off. It was somebody else also. It was another source that was for me to say, yeah, Otani. So it's mixed matching stories. Now I was listening to First Take this morning, and Chris Mad Dog Russo, he was on there. He brought up a good point. He brought up which I think it makes more sense. There's a thing that Otani probably did pay off that 4.5 million for his interpreter. He paid it off. It was a debt, but he had nothing to do with the gambling. He just, hey man, I'm in trouble. He was like, what the hell are you doing this way? So he paid that off. Nothing associated with gambling. But that's why now I heard they got Homeland Security, the IRS, and basically the feds in California all investigating this thing. And if there's some way involving Otani, you see another Pete Rose thing. It's 4.5 million, and it was a California bookie. I'm like, what the hell?
But as long as he listen, if it's tied to him betting on the game, then they go rescind his contract anyway. So, but if he paid off for that,
can we be honest about it? He's got a deal for $700 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can rescind that.
No, it's not about the rescinding. It's about how it looks going back. No, what I'm saying is, follow me, Trey. They are going to cover this up. They're going to get every piece of information, and they're going to make sure if he gambled, then yes, they'll rescind it or they will suspend him severely. But if they can find out that it's any gray area where he may not have known, but he may have contributed in some kind of way, they'll have him go out with an illness because he just got Tommy John. They will sit him down and they will clean that up, and they will make sure that this is something that's just a footnote in this story, because they are super invested in him as far as what he does for the game internationally and what he does for one of their biggest brands, the Dodgers. Baseball wise, it is on the East Coast, obviously it's the Yankees and Red Sox. On the West Coast, it's the Dodgers, and then of course a big brand, not the biggest market, but a great brand is the St. Louis Cardinals. They will cover up tracks.
The whole case hangs on the bookie.
Mm-hmm.
They go find the bookie. If he's white, it's over. It's over. But it all comes down to him. He can't have bet on no games. Now he can pay off his little translator's debt. They friends. The translator came out with the story first, so you can't trust him once he bring out the story, because he's the one that had the bad dealing. So
yeah.
But then they looking to invest. Plus it's involving foreign players, so they're gonna go all the way back to if he owed over in his country, then
yeah,
all right, it wasn't nothing. But if he's making deals and bets now in America, no. So
the Dodgers basically look like they kind of distance themselves from it. They haven't made really a
they don't have
at
to
all.
do nothing. Once the fans get into it, they don't have to say nothing.
Otani, I guess Major League Baseball, really Otani and the feds.
And the feds.
Dodgers haven't made a statement at all. They just like,
they've already got the story rolled out, so it won't even go as far as what I said. They went through it's like, hey man, this guy stole money from me. So once you go with he stole money from me, he came out, hey, I didn't bet. And then it's funny because the fans have already made jokes. It was like, oh, I don't watch any other sports, and they got a picture of Otani and it looked like it's translated. Here, then NFL jersey. Otani's in the Lamar Jackson jersey, and the interpreters in the Cowboys jersey. And it's just like,
ain't nobody exempt from getting ragged on when they do stupid stuff.
I love it.
But that's the thing about this whole thing. And when the story first came out, the interpreter was saying that Otani paid off that debt, and then almost within a day, I don't even know if it was even a day. I forgot that. That's why I wish I had the timeline. He said he changed the story and said, no, That's when also you start seeing reports saying that it was a massive theft.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause they trying to take Otani out, and then you just saw a heap of blame start to be thrown on the interpreter. So they trying to, I'm like, and I believe I saw something on Twitter, and they was kind of pointing out how Otani was playing his performance in some specific games, and it was like they was trying to correlate. The internet. Everybody all of a sudden become like super sleuths, so they gonna find something. Somebody always got a game log and
So,
whatnot. They gonna try to find some truth in it.
so let me ask you this question then. Let's just say they go with he was involved in somehow manipulating the game, right? Wasn't he one of the top home run hitters in the league, and he's a pitcher?
Yeah,
When have you ever seen that in baseball? What pitcher was hitting 50 home runs?
Last one was Babe Ruth. I don't know if 50, but
Hold on. You talking about 1910 when they didn't even work?
That's why Otani gets the attention that he gets, because we haven't seen this since Babe Ruth, and he's doing now. He's not going to pitch this year because of his Tommy John, so he's not going to pitch. He's just going to be swinging the bat.
So they're going to dig all into it.
That's why he keeps winning all these MVPs, because dude has Cy Young potential for an arm, and then he's up towards the top in the league with home runs as a DH.
He's an excellent hitter. And the thing is, and I like you said with the title, Shawnee, is like they were worried about the money, but this is the very reason why gambling was never introduced. And then that way, when you have all the rules and it's against it, you don't really have as many problems, and it's open. People are mad because literally the NFL, the policies, some of the players that have gotten caught up in it, some of them didn't bet on football. Obviously, Calvin Ridley did. You can't bet at a certain range from the facility. So it means if you're in the parking lot and that's in the zone, 100 feet from the facility, even if you're in the worst parking spot at the facility, and you're back there, if you place a bet, they're going to use because they're partnering with the NFL, with the NBA, with the MLB, and every other league. They're going to be able to tell if you place the bet, and so it's going to come out. So it's just like Pandora box is open, and we don't know how bad it can get.
But fellas, think about this. If you in the league, why the hell are you betting anyway? On any fucking game. You don't control it. You're a wide receiver. You might not even get 2 passes. I mean, you can't. You should never bet on the game. If you now me and you, Dante, I'm in the league. You my friend. Hey man, I'm gonna call you and be like, look, man, we're gonna talk about something. That's it.
The thing with that is they have to go so far down on that because they know that's the easy play. So they have to go deep into like and handing that money off to someone to place that bet. And that it's not really worth it. If you are into, putting up some disposable cash towards gambling, I would advise you doing something else and not betting on your sport. Maybe because a lot of people are involved in some type of gambling.
Whose games do they bet on?
I want to say from the times I've heard about it, sometimes it's been other sports, but some players it was. I mean, from what I heard,
I think he bet on.
He bet on NFL games. He bet on NFL games.
Hold up. Shawnee said he bet on his team, right?
Yeah, when he wasn't playing.
But that's what I'm saying.
The craziest thing.
If you're a player, why would you even bet on that? That's dumb. That's backwards. Now, I don't think it should be a problem for like if I'm in the NFL, you're in the Major League Baseball, then we should be able to go across like that because we ain't even involved in that. I don't, I might just like you because you're my buddy, and we went.
To my knowledge, that's legal. So Trey, to my knowledge, that's legal with stuff like that. But things like this, I don't think it matters much for some things. Like for me, yeah, I want to go and place a bet on something, just like something like that I feel like it's going to be successful. Because I know Vegas always wins. Like I'll give an example. When they give that over under for a certain amount of yardage, and like, hey, that number seems off unless they know something. And I don't mind putting $10 on that, and then whatever happens. But gambling might be as simply as your fantasy, football league or whatever. I know I do that every year. But that's football, right? I'm not trying to go too far. Yeah.
Y'all both play football, right? So only thing you got to do is understand down and distance in football. Whoever got the momentum on that drive, you can bet on that shit all day.
And that's the thing. It's coming to eventually. They're gonna have kiosks in the stadium where you can go and place in-game bets. Like
Well,
it's
because
going to a place
in
that's
Europe they
that's
have that. In
crazy.
soccer games,
Yeah, that's
they've been having that. There's a booth in the stadiums. They press the bet before the games, and like I say, betting is not anything new. But
You know,
the reason I was
it's
before the
just
show
coming
was
to
come
the
up with
core
Pandora's
now.
box is because Cleveland Cavs head coach JB Bickerstaff, he spoke on this. He said he's been approached by bettors and
Money,
bookies and whatnot, threatening his family
that
and
money.
whatnot and all this
yeah,
Yeah.
because there's people out there they crazy bet all type of money and you're supposed to do not bet anything that you cannot afford to lose. But there's
yeah,
people out there they bet too much that if they you know lose this money they can't pay a house note or stuff like that, and they will literally fixate their mind to take it out and blame that player. Hell, like it don't have nothing to do with betting, but they will just show you how far fans go. In Houston, when they had that 2-14 season, and Matt Schaub was quarterback, and towards the end of the season, the fan base was getting so pissed off at him, they actually had people go to this dude's house and try to confront him in his own front yard. And it's just because they just upset by losing the game. So think about, hell, that person probably had money on the game. Who knows? But think about if they really start doing this bet. It's just people out there, their mindset is so warped when, cause not, now especially with NBA. Adam
and
Silver, he,
they already treat the players in a non-respectable way. The relationship
yeah,
between
yeah.
some fans and the athletes is terrible.
They look
Like
at
think
him as
about Russell
objects.
Westbrook in places like Utah and things that he's run into instances where you feel like you're entitled to a certain way because you bought a ticket. Now imagine you
Mm-hmm.
got a parlay and that guy's a couple yards shorter. He needs this. That's where we're getting into the territory. We haven't even the guys that got, and I respect the Colts for doing this. I know they wouldn't have done it if it was Jonathan Taylor, but they had two players that they had to release. I know Isaiah Rogers Sr. was one of them, and I can't remember the other player's name. And they got a full year suspension, and they were released by the team. And it's just like we're getting players doing it, and it's like they're like, oh, we don't understand the rules, and it's like the leagues need to get together and do a conglomerate deal. Be like, hey, look, we need to make our rules, make sure they are corresponding, so we know. Hey, if you bet on this team and it's across the sport, that's fine. It's betting on your sport, that's always a no-no. And at some point, somebody is going to be made an extreme example of. I don't know if it's going to be Jonte Porter. If that man, if it
I
comes out
think
that
I
Otani
think
did
his
it, I think
stuff.
it will be Otani.
I think Porter
But
stuff can be serious.
yeah, I think the Porter
Man,
stuff is real serious when you look at the tracking that the games, the ones that he
Mm-hmm.
did, those were the most profitable bets. And I was listening to it on the radio. They was like, "Oh, so he told his friends. You told your friends to do this and put the money on this."
Especially that player who don't. He's
And
not.
if you look at it, he's at the end of his deal. This is the
it's
end
a
of his
poor man.
contract.
These are poor man's. Listen, when you bet on sports and you playing sports, that's poor man's money. That's poor man's money. Like Johnny said, you losing your mortgage payment, that's poor man's money. Why would you bet that? It's favorite. I mean, it's best to invest that, to flip it upside down. I'm telling you, it'll change your life if you do it for 5 years. Don't bet on nothing for 5 years. Put that money into just go put it somewhere, hide it somewhere that you can go
Yeah,
back to it.
I
You
mean
have fucking double the money because you'll be like, I'm saving. That's it. Invest it.
it's crazy. It's crazy to do it, and that's my thing is, I was always telling my pops, he was just like, look, man, you got to be careful with that stuff. Don't get into that too deep because you get into it, you'll get lost, and it becomes like I can't remember which movie it was where the guy was just really deep with the gambling. It was the ones where they call you on the phone and you call into the line, and they're hilarious because it's like, oh, I got the best pick of the year. Just call my number, and it's just like, man, like it's crazy, but people are calling those lines. They're in business for a reason. And it's just like, as far as I know, a lot of people already have had and I hate the conspiracy theories of this is rigged, this is that. But now that crowd gets to run wild. It's really a lot of stuff we have to
Well,
deal with
that's
the
the
gambling
thing.
crowd.
That's the thing. These leagues now, their biggest thing they trying to protect is the integrity of the game.
Yes.
Last thing they need is fan base out there that's believing it's like a WWE script. This game is pre-written because folks are trying to put these bets on it, and it's somehow affecting the game instead of having it naturally come, to its outcome. And that's the last, once a fan base view a product. That's why Ridley got hit so hard because his bets was small, but he was betting when he was injured for that year. So he started betting on his own team. They say, "Nah, man, you can't do this." That's why they
No,
suspended it for a year because
But
last
that's
thing
a
they
rule.
need is a fan base to say these games are fixed, and then
That,
nobody gonna support their product no more. And hell, you really gonna hear the owners complaining because they're
that's
losing
always
money.
been a rule. That's always been a rule in sports. You can't bet on teams, that you play for. That's why Pete
Yeah,
Rose is banned for life. That's always a rule. And I don't understand why we got to understand the rules, man. We
I guess
can't just do what we
in
want to.
Ridley's situation, I'm injured. I'm
You
at
can't do
home
it
or
for
wherever. He thought he could just bet because he's not on the field. He was fine. And nah, man, you can't.
you know,
You
and
still
you got to
you
know
still
better.
associated to the NFL, man. You can't bet on the
You have to,
NFL.
you have to know better than that. And
And
guys
he's
got
not the
guys
only
got to smarten
player.
up.
There's other NFL players after him that got
Yeah.
in trouble for bet. I'm like, man, y'all don't learn, man. Y'all just don't
Nah, they
learn.
don't. They don't. And it's just like you trying to set this parlay, you trying to do this.
So,
It's just not worth it, man. Go ahead, And I know and this my thing is I'm not the biggest guy on the gambling stuff. So it's just like I know it's easy for me to say it, but it's just like if you're within the game, you gotta know, like, even if it's something that you used to, even if you shoot dice, all the kind of stuff, or you can go and you can go to Vegas and you can gamble on the card tables and all of that. There's people that are really into that. For me, it's never been the thing, and it's like I hope that the leagues can, I hope that the players themselves can get a handle of it. I hope that the leagues can kind of get it control because it's like that's the biggest thing I hate is like, oh, that's tainted, that's this, like the foolishness. I know y'all remember the foolishness about the Super Bowl. It's like, up Super Bowl's already determined it's going to be, these teams because of the
Yeah.
colors and it's just like you got to hear all this stuff. And now it's kind of like once you get a hint of something being somewhat true, then the guys are just going to lead on and carry on with it. But my biggest thing with it is this: if you do believe it, and I tell this to anybody that asks me, and they were like, "Man, the game is rigged, it's this," and I'm like, "Why do you watch? Why are you watching?" And I don't give them the WWE spectrum. I want you to come up with yourself and tell me why you watching this. Tell me why you watching it this scripted. And then it's like, and then that's kind of where you get the silence. And it's like, well, it's like, look, I don't want to hear your theories. I don't care. Like, I don't believe that it's scripted. I felt like, yes, are there times where some things are influenced in a way? Oh, hell yes. You can watch the Tim Donahue special and see,
Hmm.
look, certain player, what did he say? That was supposed to be called a travel. He called it on Jordan. They tapped him to the shoulder. Don't call that on him. Just like you can tell what I was talking about a few weeks ago about John Stockton with the padded assist. Hey, man, that dude took 3 dribbles and a step back. Well, it ain't step back there, but he took all these dribbles and went to the rack. And you still caught that an assist? Yeah, leagues have vested interest in certain outcomes, but like for sure, like a lot of people. I know you probably heard about this, and I know you heard about. I heard about this my whole life. The frozen envelope for the '85 draft, so that the Knicks could get Patrick Ewing. Like that's one of my favorite conspiracies. And I love it because when my dad had told me how great he was, like he had me watch that game where he blocked or goaltended all those shots in that championship game, and he was like, "You think they didn't want that guy in New York? You crazy?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it's just like my thing is now it's more so the lore of the spin to the tinfoil hat theory. Now it's the man. I got a
Hmm.
YouTube video, and you can go down a YouTube rabbit hole. And on gambling, it's gonna happen. It's just like they gotta get control over it so the games and the sports that we love, we can still enjoy them. With like Johnny said, with the integrity. But I don't know. Right now, it's looking like the Wild West.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's that Pandora's box. So I want to transition to a new topic. So as we know, we're in the midst of March Madness. Have y'all been keeping up with it?
Yes, sir. Yes,
somewhat.
sir.
I was
Man, like
watching
this.
that U of H
Go there. Oh,
FAMU
I was about to
game.
say that U of H
Don't
game.
Battle
y'all
of
start.
basically almost Houston
Don't y'all
area.
start.
A&M is close enough to Houston, so Battle of Houston
Yeah,
area
We ain't talking
schools.
about
that's
no
the
Texas because they got
that's the
hand. They got the fight this week. We ain't talking
man.
about no Texas. No, we ain't gonna give Houston. Houston. I hope they go to the Final Four though.
Oh,
Y'all
they
need to
got they
be.
I,
have Duke next. Houston
I got
got
them
Duke
picked.
next.
I got them picked. And my thing is, I made two brackets of my best bracket. I had a 54% clip right, but I got 11 of the 16 teams in the Sweet 16. And so I felt like, hey, that's good enough for me. I tried to get too smart, tried to pick some upsets, and that's where my bracket got. And then I got Kentucky just screwed me. Kentucky just really screwed me big time
I think
because I had them
Kentucky
going
the
deep.
last three. Well, I know the last 3 years they've been bounced out
Yeah, they've been bounced
in the
out early
first
because
round
yeah,
or
in
the
the
second
first round
round.
because I want to say I was working the first round when it was at Dickies Arena here in Fort Worth.
Yeah,
I saw that they was like it was just around the arena. It was like, did you hear Kentucky lost? Because this is nothing but basketball fans, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm walking past the jumbo thing where they got the games playing, and I'm like, they really about to lose. I said, with all that talent, and it's just like, and you know it's bad when the AD has to come out and say, hey, he's coming back. That means, hey man, we thought about firing you, but we don't want to give you that $35 million. We
well
don't want to pay you
with
$35 million.
Kentucky, Calipari, he's basically, especially while he was in Kentucky, playing all these freshmen, and
Yeah.
then they kind of started fading off as far as not making it deep in the March Madness. Then he started playing older players. I think the previous trip to March, they failed on that. Then this season he went back to the freshman again. So I just heard this morning that he will be coming back next year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
in Kentucky they don't have a pro team up there. Kentucky is a life, you
And let me
know.
say this: it's fine because of course I was born and raised in Louisville, but Kentucky was the rival. I went to school out there past that way. It doesn't matter what Calipari does as far as his tenure in the NCAA because he's every year for the last 10, 12 years at Kentucky because Kentucky is one of the best programs in the country
So blue
when it comes
blood.
to basketball. No, it's just the way they've always been since the induction of the program. You can go look at college
That's what I'm
movies.
saying. They want to. I say college basketball. As far as the true blue bloods, it's like Kentucky, Kansas.
Duke
I'm
and
thinking
North Carolina.
Carolina. Duke is a new blood because they kind of came on when Coach K got there.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, with Kentucky, listen, he gonna get the top school players again next year. Half of them gonna be one and dones, and he gonna still have. It's gonna continue until he leave Kentucky.
Well, that's what
Now,
I heard about him. It
so
said like, is he more interested in getting players and developing them for NBA
he
or
already
actually
said it.
winning college games
But he
like the
already said
Yeah,
college
it.
tournament?
He already
he
said
he,
it.
he said that
We
because
one
that's how
and
he
done.
gets
We
them.
do one
He
and
wants
done.
to he
He
wants to
said it.
go to your house and be like he wants to go to your house and be like I know off the top of my head, he coached at least one top 75 guy, and that was Anthony Davis. That's probably, to be honest, that's probably the best
Top
product he's had
75.
come out of
Hold on.
for the NBA,
What you,
for the NBA top 75, because all these guys that he's getting want to go pro, so he's going to be able to tell
no,
you, hey, I had this guy go in the top 75 of all time players for the NBA 75 list. I coached Derrick Rose. He's gonna go down the list of all the accomplishments and the players that he coached, and that's his sale. What I think he needs to do is he needs to hit this transfer portal. Like, yeah, get you some young guys. That's gonna be the lifeblood. But get you some guys in positions like, hey, they know how to win. Get some of them guys because it's built for that right now. And I
he
think
don't
like I
need to
think
do
he,
that.
he needs to do that.
He's the one coach that doesn't need to do that because he's only getting the top 30 players in the country. That's his
True,
pool every year. That says a lot. Because even think
true.
about it, some of his players ain't even really average 8 points, and they go to the to the NBA in their first year.
Yeah,
Tyler
Yeah, but
Hero, what he averaged?
that's
10?
the thing. That's what some of the because
that-
okay, yeah, the players are skilled enough that they make it to the NBA, but the Kentucky fans they want to see success
they want to ship.
now. Yeah, and the
But they
players
come
and the
down to the
school
players,
they
though.
getting knocked out of
He
these tournaments too early. They not
he
But
even
needs
making
to.
it deep anymore.
I think he
They
needs to
getting
make
by
it at least a little. He needs to at least make an elite eight next
Elite
year,
Eight,
no matter who
not
he,
even
no
Sweet
matter who he
16.
gets. Because when they
okay,
when they announced it that you're coming back, that means there was a discussion. or there was enough
Yeah,
discussion,
they
even if you didn't have internal discussions, it was, hey man, we need to let people know that this man is coming back because some of them Kentucky fans are livid. They
they
are,
were
I
pissed.
know they're livid.
They
That
was
their
I,
fan
pissed.
base is
I
crazy.
understand what y'all saying, but it's still gonna come down to the college athlete that they recruit
Mm.
and the administration. As far as look, we need players that come and spend a year or two or three and then go to the league. Kentucky is probably one of the only schools in the country where players go there specifically to go to the NBA. It ain't about education.
And
It's
that's why
not.
they was asking. That's why they was asking Cal that question. Like, hey man, are you more focused on getting
Who
these
asked
dudes to NBA?
who asked Kyle that question? The media.
The
The school
reporters
already,
I think
the
they I
school
think they
already
asked
know.
them.
That's what I'm
I think they
saying. The
asked them
school
after they
knows.
latest who the team that beat them?
I forgot. I just
Oakland,
saw them play
Oakland,
Oakland.
in
with the
Oakland.
kid with hitting
Yeah.
all the
So I
threes that
think
he shoots basically threes.
I remember the question being asked and whatnot after that loss again because it's the
I
second
remember.
straight year that they lost the opening round against supposedly a team that's a double seeded team that's not
Yeah,
even supposed to be up there with
like a
them.
one
So
double A. Oakland's a one double A.
so the fan base is pissed off about it and all that. So but that's in Kentucky. Now there were some upsets in the beginning, especially in the first round in 64. But now as we go into the Sweet 16, I think there's only one double seeded team in there. I believe that is it North Carolina State?
North Carolina State is the only double
Yeah,
seeded team I
that's
see,
it. And
and
everybody else,
they were on fire. They finished the regular season on fire. They beat North Carolina on their way to win that ACC. I had them picked to win that first round game. I want to say I had them picked for that. I Nope, I didn't pick them to win the other game because I had them picked to lose to Kentucky, and so they just kind of rolling there. But
yeah,
if you want
that
to look at
Kentucky
it,
loss busted a lot of brackets.
if if you want to look at it from perspective of we are shaping up for a dang good Elite Eight Final Four because everybody there is still the lowest seed after them is a six seed, and that's Clemson. And Clemson knocked out Baylor, which messed up my bracket. What's going on, Mr. Benny? Hope you're enjoying yourself. So it's like it's gonna be like one of the best games. Alabama scores a lot of points. And North Carolina is a team that likes to get up and down too, even though their defense is really good this year. I think that's going to be one to really keep your eye on and look at. UConn is killing folks. So UConn versus San Diego State. I don't know how that one's going to go. Uh, it's some man. I'm really interested that U of H and Duke one, but Tennessee's really good, and I want to see that Purdue Gonzaga because it's like Purdue has all that hype on them because they're a number one seed. So it's just like, yeah, man. I want to see what they're gonna do.
But
Are they gonna show up and compete or what?
well, one game I'm interested in because of course I didn't go to University of Houston, but my sister did. So I'm not no alumni, but I guess I am following them. But that Houston versus Duke game is damn near gonna be because that game's gonna be played in Dallas. I know
Yep,
Duke fans base they gonna travel, but
they're
that's
gonna
down there.
travel for sure.
That's a home game down there for Houston. It's right
That's
there in Dallas.
45. They're gonna come
So
up. Now I think
they
they're gonna
gonna
show
go
up.
deep. Uh, Duke, I just tell them this now: put on your hard hats,
But
because
but
Houston
let me
they
say
are
this
a
though.
tough squad though.
Now here's the thing: Duke's crowd does follow them.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
They
they'll
will
follow.
be
It's
in
just
packed.
now
in a major way.
you entering into you know I guess enemy territory as far as between
Yeah,
Houston and Dallas, and they will drive up to Dallas for that. But between the two teams, of course Duke has a chance. They're a good enough team. They can beat Houston. But one thing about Houston, man, it's like they remind me of the Miami during the LeBron years, where it's like the game would be going, and all of a sudden it's like a switch. Miami would hit, and just start have the other team just turn the ball over, turn the ball over, turn the ball over. Fast score, fast break. This you know you down double digits when you was just close on them in the game. Houston got that ability. Now they was in a back and forth exciting game with A and M, and of course A and M hit that buzzer beater to end the first, the regulation, send it to overtime. But if Houston is clicking and the way they be attacking that board and the defense, they would just clamp on the team, and it's turnover after turnover after turnover. I'm like, well, damn, man. But and that's the thing because they was undefeated, and it used to be the Pavilion. Now it's called the Fertitta Center, University of Houston. they was undefeated in that building. So now that fan base is just to be in Dallas. So the Houston fan base, they gonna come up there. If they start getting on this roll, the momentum, and that crowd will start feeding them, that game can have as good as a team as Duke is, I believe that game could get kind of, I wouldn't be surprised it'd be like a double-digit victory for Houston because the way they feed.
I wouldn't either because I think this is not a really impressive Duke team, and I know that Duke is still getting the talent, but I think we're starting to see the little bit of the, hey man, Coach K not there no more. They not what you fear. They're not what you feared. They don't have the same aura, and I think a team like University of Houston with Kelvin Sampson, I think they might really get after him, and I can see. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not predicting it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a double-digit win for UH.
I'm not giving Duke enough credit.
No,
this is a number one seed. This is a number one seed. It's not about the number one seed. It's not about not giving Duke the credit. It's about giving the respect to UH.
Houston is a solid team. They're one of the best teams in the country all year. However, this is the NCAA tournament. Melvin Sampson, he still got to prove himself as a coach deep in the tournament. The Houston team is ready, but Duke, because Mike Krzyzewski is not there, Duke is still one of the top 10 teams in the country. And in the tournament, you only got to have a good game one time. And Duke is not going to go nowhere. If it's going to be a close game, it ain't going to be no 10, 20.
Yeah, I believe it'll be a close game.
But you never know, man,
Well, because my thing is, like I mentioned, like Houston was undefeated at home because of their fan base. And because they playing so close to Houston, that same fan base is going to make the drive to Dallas. As much fans that Duke is going to have there, I think it's probably safe to say Houston may outnumber just because of the proximity of the
proximity. Yeah.
But so still playing. Hey, the rims at home ain't like they are in Dallas. It's going to be a little bit.
It's the way they play. They feed off that energy. So if they start getting these turnovers, I would not be surprised. Also, it's like a snowball effect, and Houston could potentially win by double digits. They can lock, and they play so physical. And I don't think Duke is because they're not as physical as Houston.
Whoever's making shots in the tournament.
Well, think about Houston though; they can miss their shots, but they're so damn good at offensive rebounding. They was just busting their way to the way Sampson had them boys just playing and just they tough. Duke is going to have to really just hit. They're going to have to be shot makers to keep up. Otherwise, they could literally just get bullied off the court. So, but I'm interested because it's almost like it's a clash of two different styles. So that's why I'm really interested to see this game because now UConn, because Houston had a chance to be the number one overall seed, but then they got blown out by Iowa State in the Big 12 conference game. UConn, they just going through. They just like, they defending champs. It's like, man, whoever y'all put in front of us, man, we just gonna roll y'all over.
Yeah, and then they got San Diego State because Auburn was upset and like the SEC down bad on the hoops this year, man. They did not have a good turnout in the tournament, and it's not looking good for them. But it's like
Tennessee.
I don't know what happened.
Tennessee still not rolling.
I mean, but I think Tennessee that's the only one. I mean, they're one in. I think they're like 1 or 2, and that's it. Like everybody else has just been getting. Like, it just hadn't looked good for them at all.
They got Alabama. That's 2 teams still in.
I mean, Alabama, they got 2. They got 2 left. So they got them for the ones that they had. They got Alabama left. Even though I don't think I think Alabama gonna put up a fight. I see.
That was a good game between Tennessee and Texas when Tennessee just barely.
Yeah, that Tennessee and Texas was good. I knew Tennessee was the much better team, so I was just like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And then it got close, and it's like they didn't pull it out. So. But I do have Tennessee picked to, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, I got them picked to go pretty deep. I know at least the Elite 8. Let me see.
And they better worry about Creighton. Creighton is gonna come to play. That's
Creighton,
gonna be a tough game.
Creighton is definitely gonna come to play. That's another sneaky game where you look at it. That's one to look at. That's gonna be real exciting. So I don't know, man. I think it's like last weekend it's like the best weekend as far as the amount of games. But now these games they start to get better, and then Elite Eight, it's like it's again, and then you get that last weekend where the games are on Saturday. So it's like you said, like we say every week, man. It's really that really good time of year in sports. Like as far as the March Madness and everything, the brackets is the funnest thing. On the women's side, I mean, it goes
Did,
more talk, but the women's
did
side did have some upsets. Like
you pick Marquette?
Well,
Did you pick Marquette to be on your bracket? They still in it on your bracket?
yeah, I got Marquette. Where I got them. See what the deal is. I had Marquette losing to Kentucky. Now Marquette is a really strong team. They're probably gonna beat NC State. Yeah, I told you Kentucky got me. Kentucky really, really, really messed me up because
yeah,
I like
when
what I
Kentucky
seen
lost,
from
you saw a whole lot of busted brackets just from that game
brackets.
alone.
Yeah,
I hope Marquette make it to the Final Four.
man.
Shaka
Look, I
Smart already.
shout
Shaka
out to
Smart.
Shaka, man. I
Yes,
hate it
sir.
didn't work out for Shaka at Texas, but I
Yeah.
still root for Shaka. I still root for Shaka. I'm glad he's doing his thing, and I know he got hair now, and he still got that same energy. But it's just like, yeah, man, we got some big things coming up, but
Well, real
man,
quick, one
Sonny,
thing I didn't know about the women's game. I think the first two rounds, which
yes,
I
you
was
get the host,
yeah, you get. I did not
yeah,
know the highest. They
but
get to host the
yeah,
games
but
at
and the
home. I'm like, oh
yeah,
hell, man,
but part of
that's
it
a
is
game
the
changer.
way their game is. It's really great for the game to let the fans be able to be there, and then
Yeah,
you have another tournament going on at the same time. So why not be like, well, they're at these neutral sites. It's perfect. Let the home teams host, and then you later on you get into the neutral sites, and it
yeah,
really works for the game. I'm really excited about it. Juju over there at USC, like I love is what they're doing. Hey man, I got my bracket pick. I got my bracket pick for the last year's, which was a crime that it happened seeding wise. You want to talk about a crime? Iowa and LSU in the same damn bracket. It's crazy, but I did got them picked to go and meet up again. That's must see TV. You got to lock in to see that one. That's
I was watching
man,
that
look,
North
man, look,
Carolina versus South Carolina game, and
yeah.
it was just like South Carolina, and it was early. It was like they went hell with this. And you talking about they ran within that, cause they do that quarters. By the time that first quarter was over with, they destroyed North Carolina. I forgot, I don't know the final score, but I just remember how that game started. It looked like maybe for like 2-3 minutes, it was close, and I don't even know that long. And then next thing you know, South Carolina just every time I kept looking up, causing a turnover, going back for a layup, and I was like, damn. So I like what Dante mentioned. I think it really been very good for the women's college game if you would have had LSU, Iowa, South Carolina, hell, even
USC
USC,
in the Final
all
Four.
in
They could
different regions.
yes,
Don't put them in all in different regions and have them potentially
spread your
meet
star power out.
in the Final Four. You can imagine the star power the women's Final Four would have gotten if those teams would have been seeing each other. But they put them in the same bracket, so they may not see each other, or they're gonna see each other way too early. And I think that was a missed opportunity, I believe, by the committee when they
Hmm
was doing
Definitely,
that.
definitely a miss. Definitely a miss. But
But they already know what they're doing. I mean, they
yeah,
know
they
what they're
know
doing.
they wanted to make sure that those teams played after last year. Had went down in the national championship, Iowa, LSU. They know that that's box office, so they know we're gonna watch regardless. They
And
know
they
we
didn't
going.
want
They know we're gonna watch.
they didn't want to draw as much attention to that game too. In a Final Four game or something like that, they didn't want to draw attention to it. I'm telling you, that's all planned. They think about it, fellas. They in the room. They got everybody. They can easily say, okay, Iowa, LSU, y'all definitely on the other side of each other. That's easy. What was LSU number 3 seed? You I don't
Hmm
know, man. Some of
Yeah,
this stuff.
because they got to play, and then LSU got a tough one because they got to go. They got to go their Sweet 16 game. They got to play UCLA. That's a 2 seed. So it's like it's one of those deals where it's like, look, basically, I got him picked. And I know Colorado's had a pretty good year, but I got Iowa. I basically got Iowa and LSU picked to meet. So Yeah, I did pick LSU. They won it last year, so I did pick LSU. I love Caitlin. I love Caitlin Clark, but I think it's gonna be interesting to see. Man, the storybook, ending doesn't come to play. She loses out. I think that's gonna be a whole lot of. That's gonna be real interesting on that one.
You know, the one knock I got on Angel Reese, and she's a hell of a player when she's playing against players who ain't the same caliber. But when
Hmm.
she goes up against those other top girls down low, she don't show up. She don't. I
Cause
ain't.
South
She
Carolina,
struggles with that.
they got a nice post player in what's her name, Cardoso.
Yeah, her
She's a
and
beast for her
even
from
the other
down low.
schools, she just ain't. She do too much styling and profiling,
I,
but they got a nice solid team though. LSU got a nice solid team. Those other girls be
Yeah, but
balling
I
out
think this year they've been kind of underperforming compared to the
low
hype.
key, low
Have
key.
they?
Yeah,
well, yeah. I say to a certain extent. I mean, South Carolina's a tough team for them to beat,
man,
but
they
that's
got one
just like
for
a
UConn.
conference team. But
UConn, Iowa, all them teams is ready.
they're
LSU caught
going.
a break when I think it was, who's it, Notre Dame that beat South Carolina last year, late.
Who's that?
I forgot. Whatever team upset South Carolina, LSU caught a break because earlier that season South Carolina ran through
Yeah, they
LSU
did. They ran through. I'm trying to remember who beat them. It might have been Notre.
because
All I know is
South
that was
Carolina was just on a, and they look like that
it's
this
on a
year. They just
warpath.
on a warpath to a title. It's just
Like she looked like, man. Look, shout out to Don Staley. She's just got such a great program over there, and it's
she
just like
built a
they just
machine.
cruise. They just
Yes,
cruise. They
yep.
just cruising along. They turning out great players and then bringing in more. They are, like people say, oh, they can't shoot. They don't have the shooting. Doesn't matter. They got it. They got the post. They got the post play, and they got
I
enough.
think they started doing them now because that was a thing in the past. But now
Hmm.
she did upgrade her backcourt and particularly shooting, so that's why they undefeated. But
But the greatest thing about the female college game is that the players when they come, think about it, they stay 3 and 4 years and graduate. Like the one girl for Duke, who's that? Somebody going on their 6 year down there, fifth, 6 year. I mean, that makes a great product in the end. If the guys would stay at least 3 years,
well,
they would.
It's
the guys have the NBA and the money out there for them. The women is different. The women don't
Yeah,
have a
that's the
league
sad part.
domestically that will pay them like that. That's why a lot of them go play overseas. But
Yeah,
now with NIL, um, they like hell. Angel Reese is like I'm really not in no rush to go in the
yeah, not in,
WNBA
not,
when I'm
not in a
making
rush.
more money now than I will be in the WNBA. So they spend
And
4 years at your university.
my thing is, I think they messed up. We messed up a generation ago. I want to say, what was it, the 90s when they started? The guys just really started to leave earlier, and it was just kind of like they didn't have the infrastructure in place to sit down and tell the guys and work with the NCAA and say, hey, look, you're not going to be a first round pick. They need to be brutally honest with guys with their review board. Only problem is they've been, especially in that era, you've been working for free so long, basically an employee of the university, but not getting called an employee in the university. Guys are ready to start their professional career, and even if it's not the best money, they're ready to go and have the freedom to
Hmm.
decide, and how you're going to go and develop your life. And that's the biggest thing that the NBA never did. They never fully partnered with the NCAA. Like they do it in some aspects. Like if you look at it, the game slates are heavy tonight. They're heavy on Tuesday, heavy on Monday because they know they're shifting everything, the national games and everything, so that the college guys can get their shine, and then they're shifting the games a different spot. That's why the end of the season gets stretched out so much because they're letting the college guys in, giving their guys some rest, and then they're finishing it. But other than that, they could have done a much better job of letting guys know, hey, you don't need to come out of here. You don't need to come out straight out of high school and having that reward. To eat, the G League Ignites not it's folding, and it didn't work out. But it was I think it's props off to Adam Silver and them for trying, but it didn't work out, man. But yeah, I agree. I want the guys to get better and have a better college product, but I'll take a worse college product at the expense of you just holding on to guys and dictating where they go and not paying. And my thing is, if you're paying them a king's ransom to stay and be in school, part of that billions that
But
you make with this NCAA tournament, I have no problem with them, saying, hey man, maybe you should stay, work on your game, you're getting paid, get better and be better to be a better finished product of yourself when you go to the league. Guys have came to the league and there's so much wide projection on them of what they could be, and then you never really figure it out. And it's like it's year 4 or 5, and it's like, okay, well you're this role and that's what you're gonna be. But we took you to possibly be our franchise player. And sometimes it works out, but sometimes like as you know, Johnny, who's been lighting it up in the league right now? Last about couple games. About nasty stretch. Jalen Green. It's
Hmm.
starting to click. It's starting to come.
so let me ask you this: you
Yeah,
think college players should get paid by the universities?
most definitely. They're employees of the university.
Okay, okay,
They're
okay.
employees of the university.
So they should get the NIL and a paycheck from the university.
Yes, NIL has been the biggest scam because you're letting an outside entity pay them and you're getting away with you not paying them. They're just now, for all my gamers, they just now getting NCAA football back because they shut it down because it's like, this is unfair. You're going to have number 15 from Florida there. Who do you think that is? With muscles and 6'3", 220. Man, that's Tim Tebow. But you didn't put his name on the back. Now you're supposed to get paid from that and the university. You know why? As you know, as college athletes, Trey, how hard do they practice in college? Those guys that are back up, them scout team guys, they get their head cracked over there. And come on, man, that guy needs to be getting compensated for that because
Well,
he's one of the reasons why that team is number 10 in the nation. And this guy's gonna win the Heisman. And like you putting those guys through hell, but they don't got a name and an image for the likeness that people want to pay for. So they just don't get paid. Everybody's not Texas to where every offensive lineman gets 50K. Yeah, we know some teams are doing stuff like that, but it needs to. NIL was a step. We need to push it further. My pops raised me, hey man, pay them guys. Like I never looked down on the Santonio Holmes for taking the bag over there at Ohio State.
So,
I never
so
looked down on the Des Bryant.
will it ever happen with the NCAA paying the players?
If they push it hard enough, it can. They have to
It'll
push it
never
hard enough.
happen. That's why they
well,
did the NIL. It'll never happen.
well, one example, I was
We might
watching
not be around to see it.
the Johnny Manziel doc,
It
and
doesn't.
A&M. We talking about if the universities play the players. Manziel's number at A&M was 2.
Yeah.
A&M on their website, their shop, whatever, they had number 2 jersey. They just didn't have his name on there, but obviously you knew that was Manziel. So of course those jerseys during the whole Manziel frenzy when he was there, they were selling like hotcakes, and Manziel was like, "Yeah, I'm not getting a dime off of it. You making money off of me." So once he brought that up to their attention and all this legal stuff or whatnot, next thing you know, A&M pulled the item off the website. So they have no problem making money off their players, especially when it as hot Manziel was during that time at A&M. Oh, they'll capitalize on that. Oh, but as soon as you say, "Hey man, give me a cut. Where's my cut? I'm the one doing it on the field, and you making money off of me. Where's my cut?" They said, "No, you ain't getting nothing." So they pulled it.
Was he in college then, or was
Yeah,
he
he was in
in?
college.
Yep.
It was in the heart of the
The Manziel
Manziel
Mania.
frenzy.
Okay,
So
right.
that's when his jerseys was selling like hotcakes because A&M was taking advantage of it.
So do you think? Listen. So now that you said that, that's an inside story. You think that could have played in some of his sort of sliding out of the NFL the way he did because he was partying
Nah,
hard.
it wasn't that. Manziel, he had stuff just going
He
on. It
was
was just,
down there
yeah,
alcoholic out here playing football.
yeah.
Yeah,
He just had
he
stuff going
was.
on.
And if you go back and look at it, his highlight reels, all of it was just what they call them, the yellow balls. So Mike Evans. It was really Mike Evans is who turned out to be now. You're looking at it, he's a guy that's gonna go to the Hall of Fame likely in the as far as in the NFL. He had that type of player playing with him and elevating him. And saying no disrespect to Johnny, but it was just like it was a great moment in time. And I wish he could have harnessed that skill and that ability and then make some of the money because let's be real, we know about the card situation where he signed the autographs. We know he got some of the money. He could have remade more of that money in the NFL. But the thing is, he wore out his welcome at A&M. He needed to stay another year to develop, because if he could have developed a year and showed that he could do it without Mike Evans there, that would have really lifted him. and it's a shame. As good as the talent he was, that he just flamed out. But it's one of them deals where it's like, shit, it was a wild ride. It was fun while it lasted. But I just hate,
Oh,
in the league, it's just crazy.
all right. So with keeping with Texas A&M and his football mate, what do you think about Javion Clowney today signing with the Panthers for what was that, like 2 year, 20-something million?
Oh, man, you know what? I think that's a good move for them because they don't have the resources in the draft because they traded away their top pick. They do have, I want to say they have a second, they have some other picks, but they have to get their team as best as they can get it with the, supplemented with free agency. So Clowney going over there, I feel like that's a good move. I'm just hoping that they have enough of a team so that they can compete. Because I just don't want to see a good player. I feel like Bryce Young is a player that in the right situation, he could be successful,
Oh,
but I
you talking
just
about
don't. It looks so bad. He's talking about Clowney signed
Clowney?
with the
I
Panthers.
just look at it. He just went back home. He's from that area, so he just
Yeah,
went
and
back
that's
home.
awesome. That's awesome,
Trying to
man.
close out his career. I think what 2 years, 20 million up to potential 24.
Oh yeah.
So that's good money
So
on your way out.
But
But
yeah,
one thing, since y'all bringing up the NFL, how do y'all feel about the new rules they just came out with?
yeah.
Two in
Now
particular. So the what is it? The hip drop,
the hip drop.
hip
hip
drop, and
drop
then
tackle.
the new kickoff, which
What was
basically
the
put
new
the
kickoff rule? I saw the hip drop, but
It's
I ain't see the
it's
kickoff
it's
rule.
complicated, but it's kind. Did you ever watch the XFL?
yeah. Watch a clip of
No, no.
XFL. It's basically just like that.
Okay. Like it's basically like the XFL. Like it's complicated, but basically, long story short,
We'll literally
you
have to put
can
a diagram up so you can
you
follow
have to put the
because the kick is
diagram up.
yeah.
You can kick it, and the guys have to wait, let the guy catch it,
Mhm.
so it won't be how it used to be the old school used to go down and just slam somebody
Right. So you
when
gotta
on
wait till
kickoff.
the guy catch it, then everybody on the
Yeah.
line run down and
hmm
So
everybody move.
basically the kicker is kicking the ball. What the kicking team is going to be standing on the 35.
Right.
And it's a region. It's like a region they have. You stand in the 35. You don't move from there until the ball is caught. The
Right.
returning team is like on the 10, something
hmm
like that, 15 on the 10.
Okay.
And then so when the ball is kicked, like I say, nobody can move. But then once
They can catch
the
he
kicker
catch
catch
it.
it, the returner catches, then they can go. I
Oh,
think
okay.
when you look at XFL doing it, it's really not that bad. I think
No,
the biggest thing that it's going to be the viewers going to have to be the optics of it. They be like, man, what
no.
the hell I'm looking at? That's the
Only thing
biggest
is gonna
thing.
be
But other than that, it really didn't look that bad.
what you just
Yes.
explained. The only thing that's gonna be hard is just gonna be like shit down there playing the fucking Xbox. I mean, the old video games. You stand there. Once he catch, and he gives both teams a running start. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because the old rule, the team really had to back pedal
Well, they're trying to
just to
eliminate
get in
those big
front.
collisions.
They're
Those
trying to
big
But
let the
that's
big
collisions.
gonna make,
collision,
So
and
yeah.
and they're trying
that ain't
to.
gonna eliminate the big collisions.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
if a
still gonna
team
be
was getting
some
like a
collisions.
30-yard head start,
But I think they
Exactly.
want
It's
the
gonna be
kickoff back.
worse.
The kickoff was a nothing play, and I think I heard somebody say when they watched the Super Bowl and every kickoff was a touchback. And a game
yeah.
that it was intense like that went to overtime. That had nothing to impact. And shout out to shout out to the Steelers, still killing it. They signed Cordell Patterson, and now that
Yeah, I
the
saw that.
kick return is back, so now that's another added weapon to put in there. The biggest thing is, and I
Right.
think that's all I gotta say on it, the special teams coaches are gonna have to earn their money and teach them this. They're gonna have to start in the mini camps. Well, not before the mini camps, the OTAs. They have to start in the OTAs, especially the guys that, hey man, you fifth on the receiving depth chart. Hey bro, come on out here and make sure you learn how to be
Well, I think it
a
was the
gunner
special team
and
coaches
learn.
who presented this
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
owners.
Yeah.
They was
and
all
they gotta
working
push.
together trying to, because they called it a kickoff hybrid. It's
Yeah.
basically what you see in the
You kick it.
XFL, along with some other unique rules to it. So they all put it together and went to the owners, and I guess the rest is history.
Dre
But the
Marcus,
one
what's
I'm
going
looking at
on,
is that
brothers?
hip drop tackle, though. What y'all think about that hip drop tackle?
And now see
I,
that's
I'm man.
it's
Look,
gonna
I
be
understand it.
hand
I
touch.
understand it.
It's gonna be two hand
Man,
touch.
look, I hear y'all. I hear y'all on the two hand touch. I hear
See,
y'all on the two hand touch for
and
everybody that's saying that. But my thing is, I've also heard from people that they know, hey man, you know when you're doing the tackle and you're doing something dirty, and you know when you're not doing it. So
ain't
since y'all
nobody
didn't
doing
pull up,
that.
all right. So what's the name tackle wasn't dirty? When they
Dante.
tackled Nick
Listen,
Chubb. When they tackled Nick
no,
Chubb. That wasn't dirty when they got him like that. When he
Yeah,
got hurt this year.
well, the dude drug him down, and he came. What the dude shouldn't have went low like he did. It's like when you see it, he went low on his leg. He could have avoided that altogether. I
Mark
think that was a
Andrews got
bad hit.
hurt by a hip
But
drop himself.
yeah,
Yeah. So
but the
Mark
hip
Andrews.
drop. Okay, so
yeah, that was the. So it's like this. My thing is, so we
you play
either go.
defense. Did you play offense or
I'm the
defense?
offensive lineman.
Okay, so it's
But
different
my thing
now.
is, my next part is this: if you keep it around, then let's play it like this. If you keep it and you don't have it, then the players get to do what? We get to handle the justice ourselves. And my thing is, if I catch you slipping, I'm gonna get you. And that's my thing. If you hurt my guy, I'm gonna go ahead and get you back. And my thing is, you either let the players justify it or you go ahead and do it. I think most people would rather the players serve the justice themselves. It's just that you can get a get back and you hit a guy, but then when that guy is in the contract year, the team didn't give him the contract extension, and then he gets a hip drop tackle. Now his money is being affected by that, and so I think it's an endless fight of what's
But you
going
can pull
on. But I
you
don't
can
know.
pull you can pull a man down from behind without putting your body up under his legs. You can do that. If you think about it, when they hip tackle, they sort of swing their whole body up under the man and use it as like a board. You know what I'm saying? I can grab you from behind and just fall down to the
They
ground.
just send all their momentum down to the
Yeah,
ground,
and they
similar to
swing
almost
it.
like a lower version of the horse
The
collar.
horse
Yeah,
collar, and
that's
and
it.
that's one of the things where it's just like some rules I think, and that's why I always want to ask people, what's the line we should go to? Because football is going to be a game full of collisions and impact and violence. So where do you draw the line on what to say no to, what to say yes to?
Well,
And
you
I
can't
think
ask people that don't play football. You can't ask them that question. Don't ever ask them. If they ain't play football, you cannot ask them that question. You can't do it because they don't understand the contact of football.
oh man,
Man, football's a different type of contact than most contacts.
you got to have
Mm-hmm.
you got to have a different mind space to
But
play it and do it. Because I know what you have a good point with that. I'm gonna say my pops always
And
told me, he was like, look, he would just shake his head. He'd be like, man, you can tell that guy never played football a day in his life. And I was like, yeah,
but
all I could do is
remember,
laugh.
a lot of these newer, especially the last 15 years or so, all these
oh,
rules that been put in for safety, all this was spared from the whole concussion thing. Because the NFL was they was getting swamped by lawsuits. I mean, they had a big one, so you can't really fault the NFL for trying to come up with these rules for safety. Because they was
But my thing is, I feel them. My thing is, I want to say Richard Sherman has said it, and other players. You guys need to sit around, and not just the big star guys. You need to sit down with the common defensive player, and get input from them, input from coaches, from the head coaches, assistants. They need to get in on the input before they do this. And I know they need to at least be at these camps, at these mini camps, and at these OTAs, and showing these guys as far as the hip tackle, what to do. And I do think that they may need to go back to, if you don't want to have the injuries and guys getting hurt, they may need to institute a little bit more of the practice of the tackle. I
man,
do, because I do think they need to do that.
take it back to the old school. Everybody shoulder to shoulder, chest to chest, helmet to helmet, forearm to forearm. They go low, you go low. No blocking low below the knees. Everybody just man up, throw his ass out the way, make the tackle, drive his ass to the sideline, make the block. It's the football. They making it too complicated. I'm telling you.
No, I'm with you.
These
I'm with you on making it too complicated.
allow
What was the old rule about catches? They was like, hey, what would 10 guys in a bar say if this was a catch or not? I want to know what happened to that, because now it's like, well, he bobbled, he this. It's like, bro, did he catch the ball or did he not? So no,
But think,
I hear you.
yes, and think about it. If he catch it 2 feet in bounds, play over, let's go. Just like if I'm a defensive back, how in the hell can I run toe to toe to you and never look back for the ball and let you catch the ball? How can I do that? Tell me, hey, Shana, you're a receiver. Dudes run with you, they look back for the ball when he got close, didn't
that's what you expect them to do. That's
they? And
why
how
people
would
get
you?
frustrated when the ones who don't look back for the ball.
But that's part of it. To me, that's part of coaching. You're not the best in the NFL, and you're not looking back, getting 5 and 6. It doesn't make sense to me.
Because you be thinking like, dude, if you just look back, that can potentially eliminate this pass interference because you making a play on the ball. But they
Yeah.
Just whatever. They be so focused because a lot of times I guess it's easier said than done in today's NFL because receivers are so much faster than they were back then. So they so focused on keeping up with the receiver, keeping up with the receiver, and I guess it just slips their mind to
No,
locate the ball because they so focused trying to stay on them because the boys they so fast, they bigger and faster. So
10,
DBs just so focused on
20
that.
yards down, 20 yards down the field, and my man still running. I can at least, it's happened. To me, I don't know. It's becoming a passing
Because
league.
you be thinking like, okay, if you get caught one time, as far as you basically running with not looking up and you make illegal contact, get a flag on you. At one time, okay. But nowadays, receivers are also coaching now. If you notice, I think they can tell when a receiver go and then they see the receiver look up and their hands go up. That's a universal key. Okay, I'm gonna look back. Now receivers, I think what's his name Metcalf do a really good job of this. He don't put his hands up until the ball is like really right there. So he be running and then he just bows. So you can't tell. So you just think you just running a regular route. Receiver just running, but you can't tell when the ball is coming your way because the receiver's not giving any signals.
But
so
I
they
can
just running.
understand that. But I'm playing zone 7 yards off of you. I take off running. My peripheral vision let me see the quarterback looking my way.
That's until that receiver pass you up, though. Next thing you know, you got to stay on their hip. You ain't the quarterback behind you now.
But you can, as a receiver, when you running, are you looking back when you run? Yes.
Well, they always looking back, but that could be looking back
saying.
because it may be.
But
you got to look back to the quarterback, but you just don't know when you're getting the ball coming your way.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Even as a defensive back, if I'm running with you and I see you turn, my instinct.
Well, then you lost track of the receiver.
No,
like them boys are faster. They'll break on you.
You're doing a fly. I know you're doing a fly. I'm in the zone. I know you're doing
you say that, but teams like the Chiefs. Oh, that now you're seeing scramble plays a whole lot more now in today's NFL. Well, it's damn near impossible for the DB to keep up because you may be thinking they're not sticking to route A. That route got so many. I mean, once a quarterback takes off and starts scrambling, you have to keep an eye on the receiver.
I'm only talking 15 yards down the field. How long does it take for you?
Oh, that's 15 yards. Then yeah, I mean.
How long does it take for you to glance back at the ball? Just you running, you just hit a quick glance. About
that's difficult. Everything should be up in front of you. I'm really talking about the ones where they trailing the receiver, and it's hard to tell when the ball coming your way because you so focused on trailing the receiver. Now, if it's 15 yards, unless they press covers or whatnot, you should be able to see more of the play because you're playing off of them. But it depends on the receiver, though. It depends on the receiver because
you play receiver on defense. You play your side of the field or your man, but you still play receiver. You just don't play defense. You gotta be a receiver. Meaning when the ball comes in your vicinity, put your fucking hands up if you should see the ball.
That's what Deron Bland. Oh no, Deron Bland he had a good, but Trayvon Diggs he's a real good DB receiver. Yeah. Like he touched the ball, he does a good job of catching it.
I'm gonna say he used to play receiver. I had to turn over, but I know we got to get out of here in a little bit. I something that you put on there, Shawnee, and you can tell from my title, my name. Hey man, it's opening day is tomorrow, man. We already here. We done came full circle, and I know it's exciting for me because it's the first time my team won a championship in baseball. So it's just like to see them win it, and then it'll be like, yo, we get the premier game. They're gonna put the banner up. Matter of fact, shout out to my wife. We're going to the game on my birthday on Sunday, so it's just like I've never been to a game this early in the year, so it's just like because it's like the trick is, hey man, they're gonna have. Obviously, you probably can't get an opening day ticket unless you got the season tickets, and if you can, they're gonna tax you. Mm-hmm. So when they do that, the next day the tickets drop, and then the next day, and then it kind of levels off until you get one of those. The Yankees are in town or the Dodgers. So it's just like, I was like, okay, the Cubs are a national team, but I was like, look, I found some tickets, and I was like, look, we'll go ahead and do it, and so I'm excited to see what they do. I'm not thrilled that they didn't offer Jordan Montgomery. I really wanted to see him back, but it's one of them deals where you get so held up on a team. It's just like, dude, we got him at the trade deadline, but he was so big it felt like he was a part of the team longer. Like I was literally wearing my Ranger cap at a basketball tournament in South Carolina, and the guy was just like, "Hey," he was just like, "Hey," he said he coached Jordan Montgomery when he was in high school, and I was like, "Man, I sure appreciate what you taught him because he damn sure helped us." And so it's exciting to see that like, look, teams coming back, they're healthy, well, getting healthier. Obviously, the pitch is not coming until later. We just gotta hold on, put it together with duct tape, and make it until we got like 3 or 4 pitchers coming back later in the year. So it's just like it's exciting because I remember someone said it years ago when baseball season starts, it's getting warmer, and so there's more excitement in spring, and then even if your team doesn't have a chance, but obviously mine does. It's just like the excitement of a new season, what can happen, who can develop, who can come up. I'm excited. We got 2 rookies. I think they forgot Evan Carter's a rookie, but Wyatt Langford made the team off top. So it's like I'm excited to see what they do. Offense is gonna be incredible, but I mean, them guys down south, man, y'all ain't going nowhere. I see y'all
Yeah,
made
that,
some moves.
with the Astros, it's all just about redemption. They just trying that they want revenge. they they I mean
Yeah,
what they
boy.
went to 7 straight ALCSs, and the thing about similar when they was in the World Series in 2019, where they was a heavy favorite over the Nationals, they couldn't win a home game. They could only win on the road, and that's what cost them the World Series. So then last year was the same thing. They couldn't win at home. They could only win on the road, and it cost them a trip to the World Series. They could have been, back to back to back World Series appearances. So right now, that franchise they trying to upgrade. We picked up Hader as a closer now. We signed up Altuve. Now you got contract just like how the Cowboys with their players with CD and all them.
Yeah.
Astros with Bregman and Tucker. So they worried about that for next year.
Mhm.
But it's basically one thing I guess Rangers fans gonna feel like, because I know a lot of people with any sport, especially if they're a fan of a team that has not won a championship. They was like, man, I would trade anything for this team to win one trade. They will trade one season, win a championship for 20 straight losing seasons. People will say that because they want that championship so bad. And I'll tell Rangers fans, especially since they come off their first championship, you would think with baseball, because baseball just got that methodical, environment to it. It's just, especially the playoffs, it's just slow, deliberate, damn near torture. Because especially if you follow the teams, you seeing these ups and downs. So after your team win a championship, let's see, you're on that high. As soon as opening day, and as long as baseball season, like that championship don't even worry no more. It's like you wiped it away.
Yeah.
He's so focused on the current season now. It's just like, so you kind of be like more nervous the second year, trying to hope your team repeat. Because the first championship, you got that out the way. Now you want to prove that it's not a fluke, because you don't want to be like the Nationals. When they upset the Astros, all of a sudden next year they back in the dumpster. So it's
I
just
love
like,
y'all
Have to
Texas.
sell.
I
Have
love
to
y'all
sell off the
Texas
play.
boys. I love y'all Texas boys, man. Y'all love all things Texas down there, man.
Yes, sir.
hey,
I don't care
right?
if it's,
You got the
y'all,
gatekeeper in Houston right now in the AL. So if you
y'all
want to go
love
to the
all
World
things
Series, then go to
Texas.
the Astros.
I appreciate y'all with Texas, man. Y'all represent Texas. I ain't gonna be mad, but I'm gonna say this.
Always. Always.
This is my last words, man. Listen, man, it's great always conversating with y'all about sports, man. For the fellas out there, man, take this time, man, to take it as spring training. Start training your body, training yourself, man, taking care of your health, man. Coming to 2024, man, solid as a rock. It's a great time, man. Just exercise a little bit, play with your kids outside, get some grass stains or whatever, get some biceps, some triceps, and quads and some calf muscles, and eat right. And man, I mean, it's a sports time for men, man. This ain't no more football, so everybody get in shape. Everybody do a little exercise. It'll work out. Save your money. Don't be betting on this beat. Don't
Nah,
bet.
man. Please,
Don't
please be
waste your
smart
money.
about that.
Save money,
Please be
man.
smart. Please be
Now, I can
smart.
see if you're doing a little pool at work or something, you put up $5 and hopefully, just read the stats just like you would gamble and bet it on the team. Somebody hurt, you'd be like, choose the opposite team. You may or may not. Other than that, man, save your money, man. It's not worth it.
Yeah,
You
man.
need it.
Shawnee, ain't gonna lie, man. We need to look at. We need to go on and go to one of these Ranger games, man. When the Astros in town.
Yeah, but you speaking about the prices, that's going to be probably a game that's going to cost a lot as
Yeah.
well. You know, teams they take advantage especially if they got a winning team
Oh
and
yeah.
they going against another
Hmm.
winning team. Oh, you
Yeah.
may think,
Oh no,
oh, football is they notorious for that, man. It's like,
football notorious. That's why my first time going to the stadium. Actually, man, as you talk about being crazy about this spot. 18 months, I had my son at the game. It was my
How
day.
much?
We was kicking it.
How much does a Dallas ticket go for with a top tier team coming in town?
man, over 400.
Over four
What?
hundred dollars. Over $400. Yeah,
Damn.
It's
it's
ridiculous, man.
serious. It's
And
some serious,
we
serious
talking
money.
about the top. We're not talking about no
I'm talking about
level
the
two
top.
or one. We
I'm
talking
not
about
talking about it.
you on the roof. Now, one thing I do give Cowboy Stadium, they do have this standing room only, which is their prices are significantly cheaper. I did it one time. I liked it because it's a direct access outside after the game is over with.
Hmm.
So you just turn around, walk directly outside instead of having, after the game, you got to go through the crowd of people walking through the hallways and whatnot. And it's real convenient. And they already got this big TV in the middle of the field. So, yeah, you majority looking at that, but it's not a bad experience. It's really not a bad experience. So,
It depends if you can get there because I've never had the standing room seat, but when I worked at the stadium, I loved it because when I did the gates, when you come off, we would take over for the ushers at those areas near the standing room, and my
hmm
job was simply, hey, can you stand 10 feet back? And then now we all about to watch the game. Now if you keep messing up, I gotta keep looking at you. Hey, bro, just stand back. I'm not gonna trip. We watching the game. I'm right here. I got the end zone view. I can see I can see the holes open up. I can see who's open. Man. I love it. I love it. But it's just like it's not a bad investment if you can. But I did go to a game a couple years ago, and I was up at the top. But it's just like, look, I can still see, and because I'm watching the game, and I was really watching. I was watching Micah, and I was just like, okay, so he's really that guy. He's just killing these tackles. And that's why, like, the Bengals still haven't solved their offensive line. I know people are talking about them getting George Jefferson's like, can we ensure make sure the offensive line is good? Because let's not act like the quarterback's not injury prone. And I'll say this, I heard this from I think he was the old scout or the old GM with the Lions. Tom forgot his last name. Start with it. Dimitrov, I think his last name is Dimitrov. He mentioned when guys don't have all of the physical tools, when they get hurt, they're not going to be as effective. Whereas, hey man, when Big Ben was hurt, it's a big old physical guy. He's still closer to who he was pre-injury. And I was just like, he was like, that's kind of why you see, you know, Joe Burrow struggle so much. He doesn't have the big great arm strength. He's not that great of an athlete. So when he's hurt,
well, that's
performances.
what happened to RG3. He wasn't a
Yeah,
big dude. He got
yeah,
hurt. Slid.
yeah, and that's the thing. So keeping them upright. But yeah, man, it's like it's a great time sport. Like speaking of it, I know people crap on it, but hey man, the playing in the NBA, the Warriors are struggling to play in, and that's a team with a superstar. What does you say? A generational icon, a generational talent slash icon, and they are floating around that. So their playing is gonna be good. You got the young teams like I mentioned in the East, like the I think they have the 4 seed now, the Magic, and it's just like the Celtics are just cruising, whatever. They cruising over there, but they gotta see what they do in the postseason. But the Bucks, for all the flack they get, they still hanging around. I know the Lakers. We beat them last night in a tough one, but it's just like that. That's a team that when you look at it, they're gonna go. They're gonna make a run. It's just that Doc Rivers. I know they say the Doc Rivers thing, and it's just like he has to get it done though. It's gonna be weird, but he got to get it done because it's like it's crazy basketball. We get we got the March Madness, then we get the playoffs, then we got the draft next month. So it's like, man, I'm gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, for me, I'm pretty much I'm pretty much done. I know we got another show after this, so I'm pretty much done. You got anything need to say, Trey?
I mean, I appreciate all the sports topics, man. I just, look forward to the new seasons coming up. So baseball, like I said, get ready to start. Spring and football, you got the draft coming up. It's gonna be hot and heated. Everybody gonna be on the edge of their seats, see who go first through 10. Shoot, other than that, man, then start enjoying your time, man. Get out.
Say
Cut your
real
grass.
quick, what the
Do some
draft at
action.
this year?
Oh man, I forgot
Mm, that's a
already.
good question. I
You
gotta
know
see what a
they
draft
be
is
moving
this
that
year.
around. I think that was a good decision by the NFL to move the
Yeah,
draft around like the Super Bowl.
let me see location. Look like this year is gonna be Detroit, downtown Detroit,
Oh,
which
okay.
is man, what a perfect time to have it in Detroit after the year that they had. So I was just
It's,
like,
hopefully it'll bring some good money to the community up there.
Oh, it
man,
will.
look,
It
most
will.
definitely, I hope it does because it's like,
It
look,
will. Wait till Dallas. When the last time Dallas had the draft?
I want to say like 20, it might have been like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah.
No,
They
not
had
too far
hosted
away.
it. No,
I was
it wasn't too long ago.
I went to the draft with Jameis Winston was number one. I took my sons down. We was
Ah,
down there and sitting there like I don't know about the seventh row or something. It was pretty cool.
Was
You
it in
know,
New York?
I was in Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, it was crazy when you in it like that. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. You know, my kids they both played football growing up, so they was getting into it like,
2018. 2018, it was here in
oh,
Arlington.
okay,
And
yeah, not
but yeah, that's man, look, I know we got a lot of sports going on next week. I mean, next week we'll be able to preview the Final Four and just kind of focus on those teams. And it's just so it's like we got a lot to get into. So I mean, it's getting closer to the draft. We're hearing stuff. Obviously, we know Caleb Williams is more than likely to be the number one pick by the Bears since they got rid of Fields. So it's gonna be interesting to track the stories of who's gonna jump up, who's gonna do what. So man, trying to check the chat after we get done. But that's all I got for this week, fellas. I know we got to make way. So anything else before we cut out of here?
Nah, that's it.
yeah.
See
Be
y'all
safe
boys
All
out
right,
next
there.
week.
all right, man. We'll see y'all next week, man. Peace.
Peace.